Welcome to the 31st chapter. My name is Sherry. Today we are baking gluten-free pizza. We are going to start with our sauce. I have tomatoes here that we are going to just chop up into chunks, and we are going to add it to our saucepan. Take out the stem. Once you have them all chopped up, you're going to want to turn on your saucepan. Add a little oil to that. I have about 3 teaspoons of garlic. And you're just going to want to saute these. As your garlic was sauteing, you can finish up with your tomatoes. Then we are going to add them to our pot. I'm going to add a little bit more oil. I have oregano here. We're going to add about a teaspoon. I have basil. We're going to add about the same for that. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. And what you're going to want to do is have this simmer on your stove for about 30 minutes before you blend it up into a sauce. While your tomato sauce is simmering, we're going to start on our dough. So in here is my gluten-free blend flour. I have 1.5 cups of sorghum flour, 1 cup of white flour, and 1/2 cup of brown flour. And I also put 3 teaspoons of xanthan gum in it to help bind the dough together. So right here I have 1.25 cups of hot water, just under hot water. You'll want to keep it about 110 degrees. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of yeast and about a teaspoon of honey. Again, I don't do sugar in my recipes, so honey is my alternative. Okay, we're just going to let that sit for a moment. All right, so we had our yeast and our water sitting for a bit. Now we're going to pour that into our dough, and I'm very much of a hands-on. I like to use my hands to mix the dough. To add flavor to my pizza dough, I like to also add some oregano. Let me mix this up. I sprinkle, usually it's about whatever you want to have as far as flavor wise. I like to sprinkle a tablespoon about-ish. And work the dough, and as the dough is combining together with water, flour, you're going to notice that you need a little bit more moisture. That's why I have my olive oil, and it's really about texture, how it feels. So you want to make sure you get all the dry flour. So whether you are baking with a pizza pan or a cast iron, however you want to do it, baking pan, Add a little bit more to that. What I do is I actually have my cast iron baking in the oven. It's at 450 degrees, getting all nice and hot. So while that is getting nice and hot, I'm going to let my dough sit for a moment. Our sauce is almost done sauteing, and then we're going to blend it up, and I'll show you where we are after that. So my sauce is all nice and tender. Okay. All right, now that our dough has been sitting for a little bit, we have our sauce all nice and blended. We are now going to be moving over to the silicone mat. Again, you may have one of these pizza pans that you want to use. I want to use my cast iron. So what I'm going to do is, since my cast iron is heating up, makes a nice crispy crust, I am going to make the shape of my dough onto the silicone mat. So that way, when I pull out my pan, I will just be putting it right onto it. All right, if you don't want to use your hands, you can grab your rolling pin. I tend to find out that gluten-free dough does not work the greatest with a rolling pin, but sometimes it does work. So you're going to roll it to the size of your pan that you want it to be. So what I like to do is I like to have it go a little overlap because I will have the dough rise up on my cast iron. Once you get the desired size, and then once your cast iron is nice and hot, you can pull it out of the oven. All right, so I'm going to put my mat down for my extra hot cast iron. If you are familiar with cast irons, notice that they are wonderful to work with. Okay. Whew. Just going to put that right into the pan, and you'll hear it nice and sizzle. Like I said, I do like to go up on my dough because I like to have that extra crust. So all right, I'm going to first do a layer around on the sides. And in doing that, I'm going to tuck some of my crust over. So that way, I have a little bit of a stuffed crust. So you're just going to follow that along on the outside. So once you have your stuffed crust look, if you desire to have that, I'm going to do the Detroit style pizza where I first put the cheese all along the base of your pan. And however you guys want to do your pizza, whether it's sausage, bacon, whether it's vegetarian, spinach, mozzarella, feta cheese, however you guys want to put pizza together, chicken, barbecue, whatever you guys desire, it's all so good. So I'm doing a meat lover's pizza. So I have bacon bits, which I pre-cooked, and then I chopped so they're nice and ready for this. I'm then putting on some pepperoni. And I pre-cooked my sausage as well, Just make sure you get it all brown. So when you're doing sausage, and if you're gluten-free, you want to make sure you look at the labels to make sure that the meat you choose has no wheat in it. So this is Johnsonville, and Johnsonville always has gluten-free options. And that is my choice that I usually go towards. And I like to add a little bit of olives to mine as well. And now my pizza is ready to go in the oven. So that will bake for about 15 minutes. All right, once you put all your ingredients on that you desire, then we put our sauce on. I just put it in nice strips. I do not cover the entire pizza with sauce. So with this cast iron, it's about a 12-inch pan, and I'm doing about 4 stripes. And this is your pizza. So we are going to put it in the oven and bake for 15 minutes. Pizza on a pizza pan instead of in the cast iron, and I did the same thing, put the dough on, put all my ingredients on, and this time I'm actually going to be using pesto sauce because my daughter cannot have the citric acid that the tomatoes have. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did before, just going to kind of pour it on to the pizza. And because this is a larger pizza, it's more of an 18-inch, I am actually putting 5 stripes on here instead of just 4. I'm gonna use up the rest of the pesto. And now this can go into our oven, and our other pizza is ready to remove. All right, so here we have our gluten-free pizza that we made, our meat lovers. Again, you can put whatever toppings you want onto your pizza. Please like, subscribe, and turn on your notification bell so that you know when I put out more videos. Also, check out my channel for more homemaking knowledge and ideas. Thank you for joining me in my home today.